What happened? Sorry, there's a lot to say. Anyway, I make this nigga my boyfriend. So I was like, yeah, I make this nigga my boyfriend, right? After 2 years. I'm like, nigga, you gonna love me. And what he did was, like, I would never make someone have sex with me. I would never do that. Would I make someone hug me? Yes. Treat me like a human? Yes. Not dehumanize me and villainize me for being a homosexual. Oh, and he called me a nigger. Okay, he's not white. He's black, and mainly he sees himself as Hispanic. His mom's Hispanic, and his dad's black. So he's torn up on the inside, though. So it's like he really sees himself as a Hispanic. So what he did was he used his blackness to talk down to me when he was yelling in the middle of my house. And he ended it with nigga or nigger because he's black and he can say that. But what you have to understand are Hispanics are racist against black people. So he was really just being racist against me and ultimately himself, but he was really being racist. So he called me a nigga. Oh, during the course of the 4 days of him being here, after I cast his spell, he broke my door. Because the thing is, what hurts me is detachment and being left on the edge and not knowing anything and being lied to. That hurts me, okay? So what hurts him in this instance is exposure, okay? So he doesn't care if I lied to him. He doesn't care about all that shit. Okay, so detachment, exposure. For all my bisexual gay men out there, you don't want to expose someone you care about, but if they don't treat you like a human being, and you want to get them in line, detachment, exposure, equal parts. Okay? I can teach you how to get fuckboys together all fucking day. Straight, gay, or indifferent. I can teach you how to get fuckboys together. So anyway. He breaks my door at one point because he's walking out on me. And I say, oh, I guess I have to, if you won't listen, I guess I know someone who will. And he says, what? And he runs back trying to get in my door, and I try and slam it, and he breaks it off the hinge. And we look at each other, we're like, fuck. And we stop being mean to each other because we know one or both of us is going to jail. So, no, I'm not going to jail. That nigga's going to jail. So anyway, but I love that nigga, and I don't want to hurt him, so I just calm down. And this nigga says he's gonna put duct tape on the door because he's young. Oh, okay. So anyway, oh yeah. So at one point, like, he's gone for like a week or so, and the thing is, he doesn't have self-acceptance. He doesn't have confidence. He doesn't have self-acceptance or confidence. He has arrogance. And due to the judgments of the people around him, he's in so much denial, being masculine about who he is. It can never be me. That's what he thinks. And yeah. And the other level of it could literally never be Charles. Been there, done that. Okay, so he's in so much denial. Like, how he treats me is his own inner confliction. And I'm brilliant enough to realize that. I'm empathetic enough to understand that. So I give him chance after chance after chance. And but I had control of the situation. Like, I could outthink most of the situation. Where he didn't have self-acceptance, I did. I had enough love for me to love him too. even in a shitty situation. So I let him tear my shit up, like my heart and my door and stuff, and I forgave him for it. Because I want the best for the both of us. And I realized that he had villainized and demonized through denial of his own sexuality. He had villainized and demonized myself so much that he would just try and destroy me. And in the process, like, I'm not going down without a fight. I would destroy him too. Because at some point he messages me. At some point he messages At some point he messages me. And he's like, what's your address? And I'm like, nigga, what? My psychic ass is like, nigga, what? How are you gonna... I said, nigga, are you trying to set me up? That's exactly what I fucking said. Verbatim. I was like, nigga, are you trying to set me up? Because how are you going to come to my house for 2 years and then ask me about my address? So I knew something was up. He was miserable that he had got anchored into being my boyfriend after 2 years. So I'm telling you, the next day, like fucking clockwork, I'm working from home at this point. When I had a fucking job before I got laid off, that's a whole nother story. I'm working at home at this point, and as soon as I clock in my dining room at 1 o'clock from lunch, there's a knock on my fucking door like clockwork. And I'm like, who the fuck's at my door? Because you don't come to my house unannounced. So anyway, it's the sheriff serving me a court order saying something about calling this nigga and blackmailing him into rape. I said, nigga, what? Think about it. Like, I ain't got no car. I'm not fucking this nigga. Remember, I'm a pleaser. So he's getting the benefit, okay? Rape. What he's saying is, I'm blackmailing him through telling the people he cares about our relationship. I'm holding this nigga accountable for dehumanizing me and demonizing me and villainizing me when it's been all love here just because I'm gay. That's homophobia. And that's societal stigma. Okay. This nigga, even though he puts his dick in my mouth, he could never be gay because he's masculine. That's what he's been taught. Because gay is feminine, right? So, since I'm accepting of who I am, it's my fucking fault for what he does. Some skewed logic. So, societal stigma turns into mental denial and it gets displaced and transferred onto the minority, in this instance, the most submissive or gayest person. Okay, I get it, but that's some bullshit because I ain't do nothing, nigga. So you did it to me. But he has white supremacy and straight privilege behind him as the majority. He has conservatism behind him as the majority. So in his mind, like my family's mind, me reacting to what you do to me is harassment. Okay. But anyway, it was all bullshit. And then I called my father. At this point, I had a mental breakdown right after this. And I was going through it with my parents too. My whole family. And because I'm an easy target. And I called my father and told him about it. No, they weren't even talking to me. I be texting them 1,000,000 times a day because they don't fucking respond. Because they act like they can decide. Just like this nigga. When you act as the majority, you think you can dismiss the minority at your beckoning whim. Like when it benefits you, only keep them around when it benefits you, and then dismiss them at your beckoning whim. And no, nigga, no. That's not how it works in my relationships anymore. That's not how it's going to work in my fucking family anymore, and so on and so forth for the rest of the world if I have any